For now, it looks like we are all ready to go. So let's officially kick off our MaxiLife webinar series. Welcome to MaxiLife, a Maxicare well-being webinar series featuring how to cope with stress and improve work-life balance. Again, I'm Patricia Bermudez-Hizon, and I am just happy to be here with all of you. Juggling the demands of career and personal life is no easy feat, but you can always regain control with a positive outlook, resilience, and helpful advice from experts. This session will help you learn effective time management strategies, discover ways to overcome mental exhaustion and burnout, and get expert tips on living healthy and with less worries amid pressure. Now it's time to meet our speaker. She is a life coach and an inner child therapist. She's a behaviorist at the International Medicine and Dental Hypnotherapy. She promotes attainment of inner peace and holistic healing, and she guides people in coping with a wave of emotions in a healthy way. I am so excited to hear once again from Saps Uttam. Hi, Saps.
Hello, Patricia. To each and every one of you, hello, happy Friday, good afternoon to everyone.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Saps. So many people are already chatting away and saying how excited they are for this. So yes, we are looking forward to this session on how to cope with stress and improve work-life balance.
Thank you for having me again, Maxicare.
So go ahead, Saps. We can start sharing the screen for you.
Thank you. Yes, let's start. So today's topic is, let's talk about burnout. But before we start, burnout is something that everyone's feeling right now. They're all going through a lot of stressors. It's just a wave of emotions. We don't even know what's happening anymore. But first things first, before I start, let us not forget, number one, that we're human. We go through waves of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We are in a state of stress. We're in a state of anxiety. We're writing so many emotions out. And I think let's start with that. Let's start with honoring the fact that we're here. We're human. Sometimes we just don't know what to do anymore because there's so much surge of uncertainty. But today's topic is all about burnout, time management, and I hope that I can share my tips with you. So let us begin. Number one, I see the need for sleep. Why did I put that there? Wherever we are, I just want you to close your eyes and ask yourself this question. How many hours of sleep do you really get? Oftentimes we say, I think I'm okay with just 5. I'm okay with 6. I'm okay with whatever. Or sometimes we don't even get good sleep. But you know what? We need sleep. This is where the mind, your central nervous system, the body regenerates itself. So for me, the first things first is really honoring sleep. When you honor sleep, you are going to honor your entire constitution, your mind, your body, your mental well-being, your physical health, and everything. For me, that's top of the list. You'll feel so much better when you get some sleep in, because how can we perform better if we really lack sleep? So getting more sleep, really carving out the time to be more focused on not just enough, but getting proper deep sleep. Number 2, exercise and practice deep breathing. What happens to us is we take deep breathing for granted. We focus on exercise, yes, but do we really practice deep breathing? Just a while ago, we were talking, and you know what breath is? Breath signifies life. And more every day, we're realizing that we're not getting clean, deep breath. We're not going into nature. We're not focusing on our breath. Our breath, yeah, we're breathing every day. It's very shallow. But are we really going into deep breathing, quieting ourselves, and really going inward and really breathing and exercising? Why? Because this is how the body will bring us into parasympathetic nervous system. Now, there's two things to understand. There is sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight, flight, freeze response. When you exercise, when you deep breathe, you are signaling the mind that it is okay to rest, it is okay to digest, and it is okay to repair itself. So this is something very crucial, because the mind will then do what it needs to do so that it doesn't pump too much of cortisol into you in order to get away from the situation. So exercising and deep breathing is very crucial. Number 3, take some time to pause, take a break, and stay away from devices, especially during weekend. Now, I know that's a little hard, but let us try to pause. Take some break. And devices, we are in front of our computers, our phones, our gadgets every single day. We're not in nature. We take nature for granted. We take, the sun, for example, for granted. We take fresh breathing outside. We take that for granted. So at least for the weekend, let's stay away from the gadgets as much as possible. Be with family. Do what you need to do in order to really just repair yourself. Whatever it is, whether it's nature, cooking a new meal, spending some time with the family, bonding. Do what you need to do in order for you to feel really good about yourself. Number 4, reconsider your goals for yourself. When I was typing this, I was like, okay, I'm going to put this in. Why do I say that? It's because we have a lot of goals for ourselves. And it's nice to have where you're going to be in 5 years, where you're going to be in 10 years. Now, when COVID happened, it kind of just rained on everyone's parade. We didn't know what was going to happen to us. When we're constantly aiming for what we had originally wanted for ourselves, the stress is on us. So reconsidering your goals doesn't mean it's like you're not going to get there, but sometimes it's good to bring it down a little bit, understand the situation that you're in so that you don't stress yourself out. So it doesn't mean throwing that away. It's good to have goals so we know where we're going and what we need to do. But I think trying to understand that, can we do this right now? And what do you need to do in order to get there first? So take that as more of like a detour before you get into where you need to be. Why? Because understanding also the situation that we're in so that you don't put stress on yourself. Number 5, relax and spend more time focusing on self-care. Self-care is a word that's being used so much these days. Self-care and self-love. You notice self? Why do we say self? Is because everything starts with us. Know that. Our mental health, our emotional well-being, everything starts within us. If we are okay, everything will be okay. But we were never taught that, you see? So here's something that I'd want you to consider. Self-care is not being selfish. It is a necessity because we need to go inward and really care for ourselves. Why? Because we are all we've got. And I know a lot of people are mothers. They are taking care of their family, their fathers. They're doing so much. But as the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have. If you lack sleep, for example, let's say you've been watching your K-drama too much, can you be there the next day for your bunch of meetings? Maybe not, right? And what happens to us, like, for example, when we don't care for ourselves is we get irritable. We snap easily. And this is where we feel frustrated. So when we start taking care of ourselves, because understanding that you are worth it, you need to care for yourself and finding what feels right for you. So self-care can be anything, but choosing to put yourself first and learning to love yourself is truly what matters. So these are small tips that I can share with you, and making sure that, when there is something like burnout. Oh, sorry, there's a number 6 one. Sorry about that. Practice positivity. I love that. But let me tell you something. You can't be positive 24/7, 365. What is positivity? Positivity is going inward and checking the narratives of where this is coming from. So, for example, self talk is very important. Realizing not to put ourselves down. For example, if you didn't get something right, oftentimes we are hard on ourselves. We say awful things to ourselves, like, how did you not get it? Did you not understand it? Or sometimes we even say, come on, I've heard this. Sometimes we even say, bo, 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 man, you didn't understand that. Yeah, that's how we talk to ourselves. But understanding that we need to twist that and we need to change it into positivity. And how are we going to do that? So you didn't get this, it's okay. Maybe you forgot to see something that wasn't there, or maybe you weren't paying attention. It's okay. That's how we start, because we are so mean to ourselves. Like when I started the conversation, I told you, we are human being and we're trying to do the very best we can. But please be gentle with yourself. Start with these things, but really practicing positivity, because you will get it. Whatever it is, you're going to get. But you're not going to get it when you're very hard on yourself and when you're very negative with yourself. Because why should you even speak to yourself like that? Practicing positivity in any way you can, but just understanding that, okay, this is what happened. Like, it's self-talk. Don't be afraid to try and see how it goes, because this matters more than anything. Next, please. How to have a healthy life. Number 1, focus on the fundamental parts of our being. So I always call this the 4 pillars of good health. What is it? Our mental health, our emotional well-being, our physical, and our spiritual. Oftentimes we focus on your physical health, but we really don't focus on our mental well-being. We don't focus on our emotions. And our emotions are pivotal to our being. We focus on saying that maybe we're stressed. We focus on our bodies. We focus on many things. We focus on food. We focus on a lot of things. But really, truthfully, do we focus on our emotions? Do we? Do we focus on the fact that we can talk about anything positive? Oh, I'm happy today. I'm feeling so happy. Well, do we talk about our sadness? Do we talk about the fact that we're scared? We go into another ECQ and we're like, bahala na. Whatever will happen, will happen. We say that, right? But really, truthfully, what is going deep within you? What's going deep inside of you? Because we just suppress our emotions. We suppress it to the point of we don't want to talk about it because what good will it do? But understanding that it is critical to understand that mental and emotional well-being. It is just now through the pandemic, I guess, that we are focusing on our mental well-being, our stress, everything. We hear it all the time. But make no mistake that we have emotions too. Big ones. Big ones. We have grief. We have sadness. We have anger. We have resentment. And all these emotions didn't just start now. It's been there for a very long time. And understanding that these two go hand in hand. And the third part is we eat our emotions. So, for example, if you're in a state wherein you're stressed, if I were to offer you a kale salad, if I were to offer you pizza, what is it that you're going to choose? Pizza. We eat our emotions away. We don't say how we really feel because oftentimes we feel, what's the point? I was never taught maybe how to say how I really feel. Start today. Start today. That's why webinars like this is so amazing, because we can really guide you. And if you don't know how to really say how you feel, journal. Focusing on whatever it is that wants to come up. Allow those emotions to come up. Do not ever judge your emotions, because your emotions are guides telling you where you're stuck. You see, in life, we always have clues. And this is just showing you where you're stuck. So if we want to suppress something, how can we get to the root of it? So understanding that to have a healthy lifestyle, we need to focus on, if we're stressed, say that we're stressed. If we're worried about something, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to say what you want to say. But if you feel that there is somebody who you let's say you don't know whether they're going to hold space for you, start with a journal. Write down how you feel. Why am I saying that? Is because try to be a friend, a very, very, very good friend to yourself. Start there. I love spirituality. Spirituality is, for me, understanding that God will never leave us. Never. The universe, whatever you want to call it, it's okay. There's an intellect that will take care of us and will always take care of us. Knowing full well that to have that relationship within our own self, our physical, our spiritual, our mental, and our emotional, we understand all four. Start there and see how you feel. Number 2, please. Listen to your body. Whew. Your body speaks languages you have yet to understand. See, your body's constantly telling you things. But we often think we're smarter than the body. No. The body's always trying to give you that gentle nudge and showing you what needs to be done. For example, when you're sleepy and we're like, no, one more K-drama, one more K-drama, one more K-drama. At that moment, your body wanted to go into sleep for you because it wanted to rest and repair for you. But when we're not listening, we lose the momentum for the body to do what it does best. Understanding this, the body can heal, will heal for you. It does wonderfully because it wants to always keep you safe. Your body is on your side. It's a team member. We need to focus on what the body is saying and listen very carefully, because it is constantly speaking to us. Maybe it is through the food. It is through what you need to do. Where is our intuition? It's inside our body, right? That's why we say, what is your gut feel? What's your intuition, right? So listening to your body, because we are all so complete. We have everything inside of us. Everything. There's a whole pharmacy inside of us. We just need to know that and understand every day in every way your body will heal for you. Sometimes we just need to get out of the way and allow it to do what it does best. Number 3, practice self-love and self-care. Oh, self-love is the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself. Loving yourself, understanding yourself, taking care of yourself. It is the most beautiful journey you're ever going to take. Make no mistake, love is not on the outside. Love is on the inside. You are love. Your DNA is love. Every part of your being is love. So what's taking us so long into learning how to love ourselves, forgiving ourselves, making better choices for ourselves? That's the part of self-love. Now, it's not the same for everybody. But when you get to the journey of loving yourself and caring for yourself, you'll know. But my journey may be different from your journey. And that is the most beautiful thing you can ever do for yourself. Again, it's not the same for everyone. See what feels right for you and just go with the flow and enjoy it. Number 4, be kind and patient with yourself. I think that's deeply tied to practicing self-love and self-care. Be kind. We are not kind. We are so kind towards other people. We have the patience for other people. When did we lose that patience for ourselves? When did we become so unfair and unkind to ourselves? When and why? We need to learn to go back and really honor ourselves. Being kind shouldn't be taught to us. It should just be natural to be kind towards ourselves. Having patience for ourselves, because we're not going to get it all together at once. But self-talk, understanding that, okay, so you didn't do well today. It's okay. Again, it's okay to not be okay. But if you've been very unkind towards yourself, maybe this is the time you're going to practice self-talk and being patient, learning to love yourself one day at a time, and learning how one day at a time. Number 5, eat good, healthy, and nutritious food. Your body will thank you for it. Mother Earth, our mother, she just gives us the best, constantly giving us wonderful, healing, very healing food. Fruits, vegetables, hydration, herbs. What else can she give us? Love. She gives us everything. Understanding that sometimes it's okay, once in a while, you want to have a piece of cake. It's okay. There's no judgment. There shouldn't be any judgment. But maybe that's the signal that the body is saying, I want fruits. So instead of having your milk tea, for example, with so much of those boba balls and having extra sugar, which the body cannot handle, which we're going to stress the body out. Maybe instead of that, going into the kitchen this weekend and getting some mangoes and throwing in some baby spinach, putting some coconut water, and maybe if you have anything that you want to throw in, put it in the blender and start there. And see how you really feel. Go inward and check how your body's feeling, because your body will communicate with you. For example, if you're constipated, your body's telling you, signaling you, I need more fiber, I need more hydration. The body's constantly telling you, but we're not listening. So eating good and healthy and nutritious food, your body will thank you for it. And also the mind will thank you for it, because eating a lot of fruits, anything that Mother Earth gives us, the body knows how to utilize it very well for our mental health, for our everything, for our physical health and everything. We feel lighter and we can expel better. If anything, see how you really feel and just really go inward and check how the body is taking it. Number 6, sleep. So we go back to sleep again, because sleep is so essential. You know, I hear so many people and they really lack sleep. And for them, it's like, oh, I'll sleep weekend. I'll do more in the weekend. I'll focus on the weekend and I'll get more. I'll get like 6 hours, 7 hours. Here's the thing, in case you didn't know, you cannot make up for sleep. Sleep is essential because, number 1, when you sleep, not only does your body rests and repairs, it cleans house, the brain washes itself to keep you ready and alert for the very next day. So again, even here, I can't even seem to take sleep out because it is pivotal for our health. Sleep is so important because it is what every part of the body needs. When you're not sleeping, they're waiting because they want to clean house. When you're sleeping, when you're about to sleep, they say, okay, great, we're going to start cleaning. And when they start cleaning, they will discard the things that you don't need to keep you ready, to keep you alert the very next day. Is there a last one for this? Yes, get to know yourself through journaling and meditation. Start by getting to know yourself, befriending yourself. You know, there's a wonderful saying, man, get to know yourself. Who are you? Who are you? And what are you here to do? What have you gone through? How are you showing up for yourself? Journaling is one of the most powerful tools you can ever do. Meditation, there's always an app. There are free apps that you can use and you can meditate. I love this saying, prayer is talking to God. Meditation is listening to what God is trying to tell you. I just can't get over it, because God is always wanting to speak to us. You know, when we're in a state of meditation, it is with our Father guiding us. It feels so right to just be quiet at times and to just really honor, listen. What is the body saying? What is the mind? Oh, the mind will try to speak to us. It is okay. Don't shush anything. If a thought wants to come in, it's okay. Let it come in. Allow it to come in. But just as it came in, allow it to leave as well. Write it out until you can get better. But meditation is really going inward and focusing on your breath, focusing on the body. It is one of the most beautiful things you can ever do for yourself, journaling and meditation. Is there an 8th one for this? Oh, practice the art of gratitude. Now we keep hearing that. Let me tell you something. Your mind controls your constitution. This is your constitution. This is the mind. The mind controls the entire body. Is there somebody controlling the mind? Yes. Gratitude. Gratitude controls the mind. The mind will try to do so many things. The mind will try to say so many things, because the mind's primordial job is to predict, to keep you safe. Gratitude centers you and aligns you. There's so much to be grateful for. The fact that we're alive, the fact that we're, whatever it is that we're going through, healthy, we're okay, we have a job. Let us write down what we're grateful for. Let us start for small things. For example, thank you for having me here today. Thank you for the wonderful cup of coffee we had. Thank you for anything. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. But start with small, because that's habitual. It is very, very, very habitual to practice from small. So for example, thank you that I got vitamin D today. The sun is shining. Thank you for the free vitamin D. Thank you that I was born in the Philippines. I live here, and the fruits that we have is sensational. Thank you for constantly giving me bountiful veggies and fruits, Mother Earth. Thank you that I'm here today. Whatever it is that you're grateful for, make that your practice in meditation. When you're quiet, placing your hand here, being grateful. It's a lot to be grateful for. And that's how we quiet the mind. Because the universe loves a grateful child. Next slide. Oh, time management. Slide number 1. Identify the wasters of time eaters. Example, social media. Yeah, we spend, how many times do we say this? Well, just 15 minutes on Instagram. Just 15 minutes. I just want to know what this influencer is saying. 15 minutes has become 1.5 hours. Can we get that time back? No. So what do? Let us identify our time wasters. And oftentimes, if you notice, it is social media. Because before you know it, that's it. We started the morning and it's already 5 o'clock. It's 5:30 already. So for us, it's more of like identifying that. Putting your phone down, phone away until you finish your task. Because if you have these breaks in between, you're never going to finish anything. Number 2, don't multitask. You become more effective when you focus on the one thing at a time. How many times have we said we just cannot multitask? We just sometimes can't. Focusing on one thing will make sure that you get it done wonderfully. And believe it or not, when you don't multitask, you get the job done faster. But oftentimes we think we can do it till we realize that we cannot do it. Now, focus on the one thing that's very, very important and do it. And you'll notice that you're not going to be wasting valuable time doing so many things. And before you realize it, you didn't perfect anything. You didn't do anything good. For if you had 5 things, you think you can do it all together. It's too much for us to comprehend all that. So do one thing at a time and do it well. Number 3, perform tasks that require the most brain power first thing. Your energy in the morning is fantastic. And mental capacity typically decreases as the day goes on. You know, in Germany, everything gets done in the morning. You notice at 12 o'clock, everything is already finished. And then they leave to go home, typically like 3 or 4 o'clock. Why? Because you are wide awake. You're completely, on point with everything. Finish what you need to finish always in the morning. That will require, because you have so much of capacity in the mornings. So try to finish whatever you need in the morning. If you're going to wait till the evening, we always look at our watch and we're like, little na lang, 5 o'clock na. Little na lang, 5 o'clock. And then we wait for the next day. I've noticed, because I like to do that. Everything for me in the morning. And then I typically wind down after that, because most of the things that I needed to do, I've already done it in the morning. Number 4, list your top 2 to 3 priorities for the day. These are the things you focus on. Every other task then becomes a bonus. I'm going to teach you one more thing. It's called the Ivy League method. And this is what I do. You're going to write down the next day 5 or 6 things that you're going to work on the next day. The day before, you're going to write down what you need the next day. You're going to have your journal or whatever it is. You're going to write down 5 important things or 6 important things. It feels amazing when you cross that out. You feel like, whoo, I did it. Yes. So this is the Ivy League method, and focusing on 4 or 5, whatever it is, 3, 4, 5 priorities, but also being very, very, very flexible, that if you are really unable to finish that one thing, carry that on the next day. And that becomes your focus first thing for the next day. So list your 2 to 3 priorities for the day. Focus on that. You will see everything else becomes a bonus for you. It's like, because you focused on immediate things that you needed to work on. So it's just a matter of prioritizing what you need to do and eyes on the prize. So keep your phones, everything away, focus, because this is really crucial for time management. 5, plan your week on Sundays and prepare everything you need for the week. Sundays, normally, like, I will look at what I need to do. If I have work, I have webinars, I have this, I have that, and I'm already planning everything. So I know most of you are working from home, and you're also mothers, and you're also, caring for your kids, you're caring for your parents. Try to even plan what you're going to eat, your meal plans. And I know a lot of you do that, but planning everything, sitting down and everything that you need, so that you don't waste time focusing on other things. When Sunday is, your rest day, you can focus on many things. Focus there and be like, okay, I need this. This is what we're going to eat. This is what I need to do. And if I have to run somewhere and buy things, you're going to quickly do it. Like, like when you go to the grocery, you have a list. Why do we have a list? Because if we don't have a list, we're going to pick up extra stuff that we don't need. Yeah, we don't need. So focus on these things. Is there a 6th one, Danry? Okay. You see what I mean? There's sleep everywhere. So get 8 to 10 hours of sleep every single night. Now, it is not about the time, but it is about your REM, if it's deep or not. Why is that important? Because the brain needs to wash itself out as well. It needs to make sure you are good for the next day. So if we have so many things that's going to bother us, how can we get our 8 to 10 hours of sleep every single night? So focusing on these things and really going through this with ease. Again, taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, and seeing what works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, hey, it's okay. Find your rhythm. Find your own rhythm. Your rhythm may not be my rhythm, or it may not be Patricia's rhythm, or anyone's rhythm, or even your spouse's rhythm, but find what works for you and stick to that. Because the best thing that you can do is to really get to know everything about yourself. Like, oh, I like this. Oh, you know what? I can do this for myself. Getting to really understand, not just saying, okay, because we said so, get 8 to 10 hours sleep. Understanding why it's crucial. Why is sleep crucial? Why did I put it in 3 sides? Because people are not getting enough sleep. And sleep is very pivotal. Is there a seventh one? Create a system that works for you. Again, like I just said, what works for me may not work for you, and that's okay. That's bioindividuality. But focusing on what works for you and sticking to it. And you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Shall we open for questions?
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that because of the wonderful learnings. Of course, Sap, you really spoke directly to my heart when you gave a lot of those things. We all struggle, right? We all have our own struggles, and I'm just looking forward how our Maxicare members here will be showing and sharing with us what their thoughts are through their questions. So that's why I want to be able to call our moderator right away, who is an adult and addiction psychiatrist. She's a diplomat of the Specialty Board of Philippine Psychiatry, a consultant psychiatrist at esteemed medical facilities in the country, and she will join Saps Uttam in helping you learn to reduce stress. So let's all welcome Dr. Joyce Maglaque.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much, Saps, for that wonderful lecture and reminder. I took notes. I really loved how you started with we are human because that is so true. Sometimes we expect to know how to deal with the pandemic, but this is the first time all of us are experiencing it. So it is something that we have to learn. And I think, thank you for giving us all of these advices. And now, if it's okay, we'll get to the questions.
Yes, the meaty. Come on, let's go, guys.
Okay, so I think so we have a question here. How would we be able to determine if the stress burden is already too much and it's time for us to seek professional help?
I think that comes up a lot. What do you think, Dr. Joyce?
It does.
Um, first and foremost, I think I would always say, seeking for professional help is always the best. But sometimes I also factor in that, if you can find somebody that you can talk to. But here's the key, and let us use the word non-judgment. That is crucial because oftentimes we feel, let's not tell them this because they're going to judge us. But piece of advice, we are busy judging ourselves. So when we're offloading, do not judge yourself. Just say how you really feel. And do not even think about what you're saying sometimes, because sometimes when we're like, oops, no, I have to alter that. I have to say this. Sometimes speak to a good friend first, somebody who you feel that is not going to judge you. When it gets too much, seek for help because we are here to hold space for you.
Right. So it's like confiding, opening up. Sometimes when we're sad, the tendency is to isolate, right? So it's like when you do the opposite, you open up, it actually helps a lot.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
And I think you mentioned also how a while ago, like we have to really listen to our bodies because
Mm.
sometimes our body is already telling us that, hey, we're not, we're not okay anymore. So it's like, I guess what I learned from what you said a while ago, it's really like a connection between our mind and our body. Mm,
Yes. That's
mm-mm.
why the mind body connection is there. And there's always signals everywhere. The mind is constantly sending us signals. Our emotions are sending us signals. Our
Right.
body is sending us signals. Even our spirituality is sending us signals. Hey, 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 you haven't said a prayer. You haven't
Right.
said a prayer today. You haven't been grateful today. There's always signals. Just listen.
Right. It's really that, no? Listening to our, demystifying our signals, if you will. And I guess you can really help us with that because we have a question here, very interesting actually.
Go.
The person who asked said that there are a lot of individuals who are unsure to start because they don't know themselves yet. So I guess especially in this pandemic, any tips for anyone who is traversing in this crossroad?
So they don't know themselves, right?
Yes, getting to know themselves in the pandemic.
But here's the thing I'm going to ask you. Do we really know ourselves? Can anyone really say, I know myself? When I started this journey, I didn't know myself as well. And day by day, I'm getting to know myself and I'm being kind to myself. That's the most important thing. I need to be kind to myself and I need to understand that I'm human. That,
Mm.
if I'm stressed, I may want that chocolate cake. Even if my body's saying no, I may just say, okay, just one slice, one bite. I need to get People need to understand that before you get here, you need to start the work.
Right.
And just when you think that you've already, oh, I know myself, sometimes you're going to find out something new, something different based on where you're at. You're always going to be wowed because you're always going to get to know another layer, another layer, another layer. So enjoy the process. And again, I'm going to use the words be kind. Be kind. Please be kind. You're going to get to know so many parts of yourselves and enjoy the process as well.
Right. It's really a process. Living is a process. No? So thank you for that reminder, Saps. There's this quote I want to share. It's called, the quote is, the I, as in letter I, the I is boundless. So I think
Mm.
sometimes it's good to just keep that in mind for everyone that we will always discover new things about ourselves. And speaking of discovering new things about ourselves, there are a lot of us here or questions here asking if you have tips for parents and how to juggle work from home and distance learning, which is so difficult, I guess.
Okay, number one, hats off to you, mommies, and hats off to you, daddies.
Definitely.
It's something that I'm not a mom, I'm not a wife, so I sometimes marvel at how you guys do it. But here's a tip that I'm going to give you. Number one, before getting onto the next role, next hat, so to speak, that you're going to wear, 15 minutes, 10 minutes of alone time.
Mm.
Hell, if you even need to go to the bathroom and just, exhale, you need to do that because you cannot assume a role immediately. So you're done with work, turn off your laptop and you're going to assume a new role. Have you really exhaled from that role and then say, okay, now I'm going to be a mommy. Now I'm going to cook like so many things. Now my 2-year-old needs me. What have you done for yourself? That's why self-love and self-care is so important. It is not selfish. It is selfless. So having that little bit of time, maybe if it's in the bathroom, maybe if it's outdoors, maybe it's something. And look, there's no judgment. If you want to be on Instagram for 15 minutes, it's okay. You can do that. Do what you need to do. And then, okay, now I'm okay. Now I can be the mom. Now I can do this. Because if you don't have those small times, you know what? Life is just going to get it out of you when you're not ready. Right? So having those crucial little bits of time and
Right.
then really just exhaling and then just saying, okay, now I'm going to assume the role of the mom that I am.
Right. It's really,
Right?
breath is life, no? Saps.
Mm, it
Yeah, the
is.
power of the breath. Like that, you can switch roles, align yourself. You have to take a pause. But I guess it's difficult because sometimes, like, even now, with work from home, sometimes it's like, there's an assumption that since you're just at home, you're not doing anything. So the boss will demand things, everything is urgent. So do you have like any tips, like for example, because I guess like when it's difficult to handle that balance, that expectation from our superiors, but at the same time the needs of, for ourselves to take breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, any advice on how we can actually do self-care, especially for the people who also work at night?
Self-care, I would think number one is when you work at night and then you have to unwind first. Whatever way it is,
Mm.
unwind. I think the first thing, people are really not hydrating enough.
Mhm.
I would say food. Here's the thing, okay? So our emotions, they bring us to a whole different level. Our mental brings us to a whole different plane. Okay? The thing is, we need to ground, and food grounds us. So, getting some food into you, hydration, whether it's a piece of fruit, a banana, or anything, making sure that you're grounded enough. And then you can then do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
really good.
grounding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You said coffee a while ago. Sometimes it's just good to like spend time sipping that coffee, smelling the coffee.
Oh, I'm not a coffee drinker, by the way, but I know you guys are. So I had to use coffee. And deep down, I was like, no, water, water. Sap, say water.
I'm not a coffee drinker either. But
I had to
sometimes it
say
does.
that.
Yeah. But you're right, because sometimes like when we wake up, we're always thinking about like what we should do, what we should do. Take a moment first, gather yourself. And like that'll actually help you deal with whatever it is we have to deal with today. Oops, I think we lost your video, Saps. We will miss your very beautiful face.
No, I'm here, but the beautiful sun is now setting.
Oh no.
So the beautiful sun decided to set, and here I am.
Artificial sun for us first.
Yes.
Okay. So wow, there are a lot of questions that are coming in right now. I guess
Go,
yeah,
go.
I guess they're really this topic is something that everyone can relate with. And this one is also bringing up a cultural thing. Like a lot of Filipinos, burnout isn't accepted. How do we deal when we are living with people who are like this? Mm,
Ooh, first of all, judgment is too much.
right.
Feel your feelings, forget about what other people feel. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that out loud. Again, feel your feelings, don't suppress it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, please, please know that it is a normal feeling to have. We don't need validation from other people because we're humans. I started the conversation by saying that, right? We
Yeah.
are human. And as human beings, sometimes what I go through may not be what Dr. Joyce is going through, but also understand that we don't need validation from anyone. We just need to feel our feelings. That's why journaling is so important. Talking to someone is so important. And really, this is the best thing that I can tell you. Get to know thyself, become your own friend. Because again, when you go inward and you become your own friend, the body's going to start sharing stuff with you. The body speaks to you. So sometimes we won't be able to find that person for us because everyone's busy judging, but don't judge yourself first, okay? Don't judge yourself. If you're feeling something, know that every emotion, again, every emotion is a part of the beautiful fact that we are human beings. Our emotions are there to show us where we're stuck. It is our journey. It is not anybody's journey. So focus on your own journey. But don't feel that, oh, because I'm Filipino, it's not accepted. It's like this, like that. Are we going to wait for the time that it's going to be accepted? No, but you need to do what you need to do for yourself. That's why I said, be your own person first. Be your own friend. Be your own everything to yourself. Then you watch how everything will follow.
Mm.
Now, if you can't find that person, journal. Journal until you find that perfect person. Well, I guess nobody's perfect, but you'll find that person who you can confide in.
Mm. Right. It's we really have to be a friend to ourselves. Now it's so easy for us sometimes to be friends to others, but difficult towards ourselves. But like what you said, we can only give what we have. So
Exactly.
if we can't be friendly to ourselves, it's also difficult to do that to others, right? I think that's one of the key messages I got from your talk today. It's really like self-care means really having a relationship with yourself, loving yourself. And sometimes we have a lot of insecurities and our feelings can get a bit they can kind of get the better of us. Do you have any advice for those who are like struggling with those regulating those emotions?
Number one, your emotions are there to show you where you're stuck. Your emotions are your biggest teachers. However, your thoughts and your emotions are not who you are. They're just showing you where you're stuck. Understanding this, Dr. Joyce, we are in the mental health business, right? In the field rather. But really understanding that as human beings, we have so much pent up emotions. We have suppressed emotions. A lot of it is from backtrack years ago. So really having feelings is the now, having emotions are the past. Like there's a lot of suppression there. So really, first things first is forgive yourself.
Mm.
For if you didn't know any better, forgive yourself for not, for if you think that, oh, I didn't do that in the past, forgive yourself. Back then you didn't know, now you do. Now you know. You can move forward. I think the first thing I'm going to say is forgiveness, forgiving yourself for you didn't know back then what you do now. And moving forward with ease and grace.
So it's really like, the blueprint of living is really our relationship with ourselves, it seems. Huh? And so like when you forgive yourself, when you be compassionate and different to yourself, as like what you said, it would unlock a lot of things. Your body would talk to you. You would know how to navigate. And if it's okay to ask now, since I saw a question here, and since we are talking about the body, we actually have questions here like, if we were diagnosed with a mental health problem and given medication, is it okay to just do help this person emotionally and not take medicines anymore?
I don't think I can answer that. However, I will say also as integrative nutritionist, I will also say focus on food.
Right.
Hippocrates said this: let food be by thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. Hippocrates said that. So focusing also on food, your lifestyle, focusing on sleep, focusing on health, focusing on your journey. So I'm not here to say anything about meds.
Right.
Please forgive me. The one thing I will say is, as Hippocrates said that, maybe eat more fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Hold yourself and say, I love you. I don't know what it's like before, but I'm going to start loving you. Be gentle, be very, very gentle. So, one, no, the saying, no two twins are even the same. So, we cannot give advice based on something I don't know, I'm not seeing yet. But one thing I will say is start with whatever it is that's coming out. It's okay. It's very, very, very acceptable. Also, Mother Nature loves us. The soil of the Philippines is so rich. We have everything wonderful here. So, I'll give you something. Dr. Joyce, did you know that eating fruits is actually very good for our mental health?
Yeah. Because it's really like you are what you eat, no? And I guess with relation to the medicine, it's also our brain, as what Sap said, our brain is part of our body, our mind is still part of our body. There's a connection there. So sometimes our body is the one that's like telling us, I need help already. So I think the goal of treatment is really holistic, right? I,
Mm.
it's mind, body, spiritual, right? So biopsychosocial spiritual approach, right? Mm-hmm.
But the brain runs on three things, like the body runs on pivotal things, which is number one, glucose found in fruits.
Right.
That's why, like, when we eat a mango, ooh, the smile on our faces, right? Right?
What's the best fruit to eat then?
anything,
Anything. I
whatever Mother Earth gives us, anything. But of course, for antioxidant purposes, of course, it's berries. But not everyone can afford berries, and it's okay. But my God, papayas, bananas, mangoes, anything that you want, coconut water, healthy, healthy, healthy. So hydration is key, glucose is key, oxygen is key. These are your three important things. So in order to have that good, calm mind.
Right. It's really taking care of our bodies, investing on our bodies. Going to see me a psychiatrist means that our body already suffered quite a lot. So, follow what Sap said, and I think this is the time that we have Saps. It's always a pleasure talking with you. And we can actually go on and on and on about self
We
care.
can, yes.
Yeah. I'm always inspired by your talk. So I hope the listeners also, or the people here, are also feeling the same way. So thank you so much, Saps. I think we will call on Patricia. Ayan.
I really enjoyed your
Thank you, Doc Joyce.
Thank you
Sorry.
so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Doc Joyce. We'll see you again, but that was great. What a wonderful conversation you had with Saps. But Saps, before you go, of course, we'd like to thank you. We all appreciate it, getting to listen to you, giving all those wonderful advice, and of course, getting to answer all those questions. I feel like we are in one room, although we both, and even Doc Joyce, we don't drink coffee, but I really felt that that was the conversation I needed to hear today, this week. This is exactly where I needed to be. And I'm sure a lot of our MaxiCare members feel just that. Why don't you share your final message for everybody?
My final message for you is number one, when I started, I said you are a human being. Take that seriously, because as a human being, we've come here to not seek for perfection. We don't need to seek to be perfect. We are perfect. We have everything inside of us. We don't have anything that we lack on the outside. We just need to remember who we are. But in order to do that, make sure you spend enough time with yourself. Learn to love yourself, have compassion for yourself. Love and compassion, they don't exist without each other. Make sure you're kind to yourself. It all starts with yourself. And if there's something that you don't, if you're struggling with, make sure that you're, understand that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay.
Thank you, Saps. Thank you, Saps. You really speak directly to our hearts. We're getting a lot of, great questions. We have a lot of people who are grateful and will follow your advice on everything, including, I hope it's not just breathing, but the sleeping, but the being, and of course, the loving itself. Thank you so much, Saps. We really appreciate your time. And of course, to our MaxiCare members, thank you as well.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. That was Saps Uttam. And what a great conversation she had with Doc Joyce. And what a wonderful sharing that she had earlier. Wonderful, powerful tips that we can all use. Now, for those actually who were engaged with us on that game, Guess the Stress. Well, I'm sure you guys are ready to find out who the winners are. If your name will pop out, you can win a bookie voucher that will give you a premium account, which means lots of free and great items. Of course, free food and services with that voucher that you can win. So let us show the winners of our Guess the Stress game earlier. Maria Nenebeth Marbella, congratulations to you. Sonia Mediano and Sheila Javier, congratulations to all of you. You win the Bookie Premium vouchers. Now, of course, we will need you guys to share your complete name, your contact number, and your email address on the chat box right now. So Nenebeth, Sonia, and Sheila, can you please chat with us right now so that we can get in touch with you about claiming your prizes. Now, for those who didn't win in our icebreaker game, don't stress, guys. Don't get stressed. Again, we just like to remind everyone that you can still win exciting prizes just by answering a survey that will be sent after this event. 5 lucky participants will win a Maxicare J Handle umbrella, as the survey link will be sent through email on August 31, and by September 6th, The winners will be selected and then contacted by Maxicare for the delivery of the prizes. Sounds good? Make sure you guys answer the survey. Now, before you guys go, we'd like to know what you guys thought. So we have three quick questions for you guys through our poll. And here's the first question. Now that you have new knowledge about how to cope with stress and improve work-life balance, the question is, are you ready to make the needed steps to live your best life? Ah, I love this question. I think it really allows us to think about how this has impacted us, but more than that, how we're going to be taking what we learned to the next step and really applying it. So, yes or no? Of course, majority, I mean, 99% of us really are ready to take the needed steps to live our best life thanks to this discussion. I appreciate it. Which among the insights about coping with stress did you like the most? And there are so many. I can actually click on all of these, but was it effective time management strategies, ways to overcome burnout, or tips on living healthy with less worries? Which one of those really spoke to you the most? And maybe your choice would actually also reveal your pain points. I'm not sure, but I'd love to know what you guys think. So let's share what the poll results are. Tips on living healthy with less worries, but essentially it's about the same for effective time management strategies and ways to overcome burnout. And that only tells us that each of those main topics were very important to all of you. So thanks so much for sharing. Now, this is the third and also equally important question. Which topics or activities would you like to see in our next MaxiLife webinar series? And you can choose more than one. Strengthening the immune system, check. Taking care of the eyes, check if you like that. Home fitness program, check if you like that. Or all about sleep. Sapps actually put so much emphasis on sleep. So, which of these topics would you like to see in our next MaxiLife webinar series? Let's show the results. A lot of you are saying strengthening the immune system. That is still really our top priority. And I'm glad that that's your priority as MaxiCare members as well. And of course, a good majority also want to talk about sleep. So we hear you and we see that these are the things that will help you live your best life. But if you enjoyed this experience, please do share it on your social media using the hashtag Live Your Best Life and hashtag Maxicare MaxiLife webinar. And you can tag Maxicare also on Facebook at Maxicare Healthcare Corp, their IG on at Maxicare Healthcare. And of course, don't forget to also follow and tag Maxicare Health and Wellness when sharing about your wonderful takeaways from this event. And please don't forget, also, you can subscribe to their YouTube channel, Maxicare Healthcare Corporation. To learn more about Maxicare's products, please visit www.shop.maxicare.com.ph, or you can send them a message and chat with them on FB Messenger. If you guys have questions about this webinar series, send an email. It's maxicare.webinar@maxicare.com.ph. Ang tanong ko sa inyo, we're talking about time management earlier. Kayo ba, super busy ba at work and no time for yourself? Whatever your answer is, see you guys on our next webinar on September 17 at 5 p.m. about how to put together a fitness program outside of the gym and how working out improves your overall health. Very connected to what we just talked about. So I'm also excited to see you guys on September 17. That ends our event for today. Thank you so much for being with us. We hope that you enjoyed it and you guys were able to take away meaningful experience. Thanks again, everyone. We know that with Maxicare, you all can live your best life. Have a great weekend. Long weekend. Have a great long weekend, everybody.